Welcome to Wrestling News and Opinions coverage of NXT for June 3rd, 2015. So it airs on the WWE Network, and to start off the show, they had Tyler Breeze versus Adam Rose. So Tyler Breeze and Adam Rose were mixing it up. And, you got two heels going at it, really. Adam Rose has been more of a heel, especially since getting with Rosa Mendez. A lot of people don't like Adam Rose. I think that's more because of the whole Rosebud gimmick, but the Rosebuds are gone, and now he's going more heel. And Tyler Breeze, he's also a heel character, so you got heel versus heel. And Adam Rose, he was actually being pretty aggressive in this match, pretty physical. He was taking it to Tyler Breeze for the most part. He did end up getting tossed outside the ring by Tyler Breeze, but then he would end up throwing Tyler Breeze out there, and then he had him locked up. He even, got him pretty nice with a spine buster, and then he ended up, Tyler Breeze kicked out. Rose ended up turning into a Boston Crab, and then he actually ended up throwing him outside the ring again, and this time he dropped an elbow, as it was shades of Mick Foley, really shades of Cactus Jack, as Cactus Jack used to do that. That was his finisher way back in the day. And actually the crowd was chanting, I think they were chanting Cactus Jack. They might have been saying Mick Foley. I think they were saying Foley, but it was really Cactus Jack who did that elbow off the top of the apron to the outside to his opponent. Of course, once he ended up getting him back in the ring, Tyler Breeze ended up turning things around. He hit the beauty shot, and it was 1, 2, 3. Tyler Breeze wins. So Tyler Breeze gets the victory here. I guess it's, they're building up Tyler Breeze. Eventually, I would imagine he's going to end up coming up to the main roster. Adam Rose, I thought he actually should have had Rosa out there. If he had Rosa out there, then maybe Rosa could help him cheat to win. And that's kind of what he should be doing. That would make the most sense to me anyways. If you got Adam Rose with Rosa Mendez, she's outside, she hands him some foreign object, and then he cheats to win and is doing different heel tactics throughout the match. They said he was wrestling pretty aggressive. I actually thought it was a pretty good showing by Adam Rose in this match, and I did actually like to see that elbow drop, as he incorporated that in, and it was kind of paying homage to Cactus Jack, because I like Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack's pretty cool. But you gotta wonder, though, why would they put these two guys in a match, heel versus heel? Especially, no one's gonna ever, what are they trying to turn Breeze face? No one's gonna ever root for Breeze. Who could stand a character like that? Tyler Breeze, he's good in the ring or whatever, his in-ring work, but the character of Tyler Breeze is a character that I'm never going to cheer for. I can't stand that character. That character is so annoying. He's just totally full of himself. Prince Pretty, are you kidding me? And with all that fluffy stuff, it's that's the last guy I'm ever going to root for. So, and then that's the thing is, so you're going for Adam Rose in this match, really. That's who you're rooting for. That's who I'm rooting for. But he's actually wrestling as a heel, doing heel stuff, being really aggressive, wrestling as a heel. So, like I said, it's heel versus heel. Doesn't exactly make sense. Even though, I actually wasn't really big on Adam Rose before. I thought he sucked with the Rosebuds. But ever since seeing the E60 and everything and finding out more about him, and now that they're turning him heel, I like what they're doing with him. They're actually, giving him a better, character. So he's actually been better lately than before, when before the whole Rosebuds thing was just stupid. But anyway, Tyler Breeze got the win here. Let me know what you thought about the match and what you think about these guys and what you thought about them being faced up against each other. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. So I thought it was a pretty good match, although psychologically, I'm not really sure where it made sense and what exactly they were trying to accomplish there, other than just keeping Tyler Breeze on a, winning and put him back in the winning picture, because he did, lose the #1 contender spot to Finn Balor, and so, they want to, keep him looking good, but, I don't know why they would have him, why don't they have him go against somebody else besides Adam Rose, other than they just need, Adam Rose needs to get on TV, which he should be on, SmackDown, getting, some action in there with, like I said, Rosa on the outside helping him cheat to win. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Alright, so after the match with Tyler Breeze and Adam Rose, they went backstage. We had an interview with Solomon Crow, and he was saying that he wants another rematch with Kevin Owens. He wants another shot at the NXT Championship. And so I actually think that would be a good thing to see Solomon Crowe get another shot. He did get beat down pretty hard the first time around, but he's a tough guy. He said, that's what he said. So he said, I've been beaten down before and I got back up. I got beat up. I got back up again. So anyway, as long as they don't put Sami Callihan in a fire truck, I mean Solomon Crowe, as long as they don't put him in a fire truck, they'll be like, yeah, I'm a fireman, and ruin him like they did with Dean Ambrose. But otherwise, I like, Solomon Crowe. I think he's pretty cool. But hopefully, like I said, they just don't put him in a fire truck, right? Or do something stupid like that with him. And just let him stay true to his character. And that'll be alright. So, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him face Kevin Owens. Or, who knows, they announced that it's going to end up being Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens on July 4th from Tokyo, Japan. So, it could end up being Finn Balor that he ends up facing for that NXT Championship. Either way, it should be a pretty good match, and it's something I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a little while. We'll have to wait for it, but good things come to those who wait. So let me know what you think about Solomon Crowe getting another shot at the NXT Championship, whether it be against Kevin Owens or versus Finn Balor. Alright, so the next segment we had Eva Marie. So Eva Marie came out there and she was being interviewed, and the NXT crowd was just freaking horrible. They were booing her. They wouldn't let her talk. And it was bullshit. It was bullshit. They really had no right to... They're such hypocrites. Like, for them to sit there and boo her, and then they're telling her she can't wrestle. And I'm not saying that Eva Marie can wrestle, but neither can the Divas champion. Alright? Now, there's some good wrestlers down there in NXT in the women's division, but the thing is that a match happened right after this with no wrestling, like next to none. It was like, and they didn't even give, like, they didn't boo them. They didn't boo Alexa Bliss. They didn't boo Carmella. I give them credit for their effort or whatever, and I'm not trying to disparage them in any way, but if they're gonna boo Eva Marie, then they should have been booing Alexa Bliss and Carmella in the match that they had that had no wrestling at all. There was no wrestling moves. It was like, I thought it was an entertaining match or whatever, but they're not wrestlers. And it was, and I'm going to talk about that match in a minute, but just I'm using that as a point towards how hypocritical they were to Eva Marie, to boo her when she's no less talented than the match that they cheered 5 minutes later. So shut the fuck up, you hypocrites. You're full of shit. You just want to boo a pretty lady? Is that what it is? Come on now. But whatever. Go ahead and boo her, because then she'll just be a heel and get it on like that. You want to boo her? Fine. And that's the thing, is that even as much as they booed her, she sat there, she let them boo. They're booing and booing. She first was trying to get it out, but then she's like, alright, it was just too much that she's like, yep, get out your system. And they boo, boo, boo. For no really justified reason, especially with how they like to cheer everything. Like, they cheer things that don't deserve to be cheered. And now they're gonna boo her and treat her like that. Come on. That's just freaking bullshit. And the thing is, so then after they were done booing, they weren't totally done, but once they were done, like, being rowdy to the point of not even letting her talk, she finally got out. She said, you know what? I've been watching NXT. The reason why I showed up in Unstoppable is I've seen that there's a high level of competition here, and so now I'm here and I want to bring up my game. So she's here to show and prove, so let's give her a chance. That's the thing about it too, is up on the main roster you have a champion that can't wrestle. People ain't booing her out the building, and she's just been learning to wrestle while she's been the champion. Even though, and she is getting better, but she should have been in NXT getting better, where at least Eva Marie isn't like up on the main roster with the Diva title being like, yeah, I'm learning to wrestle. At least she's down in NXT trying to hone her craft. That's how you're supposed to do it. Give her a chance. That's all I'm saying. And don't be so hypocritical. Don't cheer every damn thing if you're gonna, and then boo her, and then not boo stuff that isn't wrestling. I mean, like I said, the next match, you'll hear what I have to say about it in a minute. And it was entertaining. It was fine. There was nothing, I wouldn't say there was anything wrong with it. But if you're gonna boo Eva Marie, then have some, consistency and boo the next match that had no wrestling. they weren't wrestling in the next match, and you didn't boo them, so you're full of crap. And that was just like being mean. I looked at that, I was like, they were just bullying her. Basically, they're just like, oh, she's pretty, I can boo a pretty lady. Boo, boo, you're pretty and I'm ugly, boo. Like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, freaking. But anyway, that's how I took it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, if you think I'm full of shit, or if you think that the fans for booing her are full of crap down there, and they need to freaking get their, the stick out their butt and freaking get off their high horse. Either way, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. William Regal announced on NXT that on July 4th, live on the WWE Network from Tokyo, Japan, WWE will be broadcasting an event that will be featuring John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, Paige, the Lucha Dragons, Neville, and Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship. This is happening on the 4th of July, live from Tokyo, Japan on the WWE Network exclusively. So William Regal announces this. We had already heard some talk about this, about Brock Lesnar having a date over there in Tokyo, Japan on a WWE live house show, and now they have turned it into a super show live from Tokyo. And as he said, not just Brock Lesnar, it's also going to be John Cena, Chris Jericho, Neville, Paige, Lucha Dragons, and of course Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens. This is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see this on the 4th of July on the WWE Network. It's been a long time since we've seen Brock Lesnar and Chris Jericho, so that's going to be pretty awesome. And of course Neville and Finn Balor, both, they made names for themselves over in Japan, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and also in the Best of the Super Junior tournaments, as Finn Balor actually won that tournament a couple years back. And then Kevin Owens is going to be facing Finn Balor over there, and the crowd's going to be in the favor of Finn Balor, so they'll probably be chanting Prince Devitt, as that's what he wrestled under over there in Tokyo, Japan, and he's going to be getting his shot at the NXT champion Kevin Owens with the championship on the line. I cannot wait to see this. It is going to be awesome, and I'm so happy that they actually are going to be broadcasting this. This is something that me and my brothers and friends had talked about. We were wondering, are they going to end up showing this right here? We were hoping they would, and now it's official. They are going to be showing this show live from Tokyo, Japan on July 4th. So happy 4th of July. Is the WWE Network is going to be bringing an amazing show. As I said, once again, Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, Cena, Paige, Lucha Dragons, Neville, and Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, and that's just for starters. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. I know I'm excited about it, and I cannot wait to see it. And I'm wondering, how are they going to have a match up? Is it going to be Cena, Lesnar, and Jericho in a triple threat match? Or is it going to be Cena versus Lesnar? Or are they all going to be in separate matches against other different opponents? Like, who are they going to be facing up against? Who's Jericho going against? Who's Paige going against? Is it going to be against Nikki for the Divas Championship? Are the Lucha Dragons getting a shot at the Tag Team Championship? Like, who's Neville fighting? It's going to be awesome for sure. Is he still fighting Bo Dallas at this point? It's still a month away. It's it's June 3rd right now. It's going to be July 4th that they have the show. So we definitely will have plenty more on that in the weeks to come. It'll be interesting to see what they do for a build up to it as well. But Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, that's the one we know for sure, and that's the fight we've been looking forward to ever since Finn Balor became the #1 contender by beating Tyler Breeze at Unstoppable. So Kevin Owens facing Finn Balor at Tokyo, Japan, July 4th on the WWE Network. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Alright, so the second match we had Carmella versus Alexa Bliss. And this followed Eva Marie getting booed. And this match right here, I said it was alright, but there wasn't much wrestling. Not really. And I thought it was pretty peculiar that everybody wanted to boo somebody saying she can't wrestle, but then they kept their mouth shut while there was no wrestling going on in the ring. I mean, I give Carmella credit, and I like Carmella, and I like Alexa Bliss, and I give them credit for their effort and that they're trying to learn how to wrestle, but they sure as hell didn't do much wrestling in this match. I mean, it was like, yeah, let me just do like almost a Luthez press, and then just punch, 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 punch. Oh yeah, forearm, forearm. Oh, a kick, a kick. And then, oh yeah, a front face lock. Yeah, oh my goodness, a front face lock. Holy cow, that's some freaking wrestling, baby. Whoa. Like, there was no wrestling at all, man. I mean, really, come on. And then, you know, like the one move she does is like just grabbed her hair from behind and like threw her down like as if it was like a sit down thing. Like that wasn't even really a wrestling move either. Listen, I like Carmella, don't get me wrong, and I like Alexa Bliss and all. And like I said, I appreciate their effort, and I don't. It's not like as if I'm wanting to be like dogging on them in any way, you know. But I thought it was kind of interesting how they wanted to boo Eva Marie out the building for not being able to wrestle, and then a match takes place in front of their very own eyes, like minutes later, with no wrestling, and they cheer. Oh yeah, let's cheer. Why? Because they're likable. Listen, I like them too. I think, you know, the whole thing with Carmella and Alexa's cool, and it's good, and it's entertaining. Because, you know, you got the whole storyline of Blake and Murphy versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass going on with it. But on itself, it wouldn't really be that interesting. But as a piece towards that bigger story of, you know, the tag team belts and Enzo and Big Cass chasing Blake and Murphy for it, alright, it's good. You know what I mean? And I actually did enjoy it, and it was entertaining towards that end. And then Alexa Bliss, you know, she ended up cheating to win, which is a little bit funny too, because she's actually a better wrestler than Carmella. Not like either one of them are, you know, anywhere near Sasha Banks status. Not even close. But why is Alexa Bliss cheating to beat Carmella when she's actually more talented than her? That don't make sense. Carmella, I like her better on the mic and everything, and she got swag, no doubt. She, like, Alexa don't have her swag, but Alexa is better, like, with her execution of what she can do in the ring and her moves. You know what I mean? So now she's gonna cheat to win against somebody who's not as good as her. Like, does that make sense? And then, but yeah, that's all I'm saying. And you know, I thought it was kind of bullcrap that everybody's mean to Ava Marie. Doesn't really necessarily have to. It doesn't have anything to do with this match. Like I said, I did think this was entertaining, but I thought it was interesting that like people wouldn't like boo against either one of them when they weren't really doing much of any wrestling, you know. So why won't they be consistent in their hate, right? Or in their cheers, because they just cheer for everyone. It's like cheer and cheer alike. We like to cheer, 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 except for Eva Marie for some reason. We're just gonna boo her. We're gonna just channel everything at Eva Marie and John Cena. We hate John Cena because he's awesome, and then we hate Eva Marie because she's beautiful. It's like, you know, why don't they hate Carmella and Alexa Bliss? They're beautiful too, and they can't wrestle either. But like I said, as a, you know, piece of the bigger story of Enzo and Big Cass and Blake and Murphy, it was pretty good. It was entertaining. It did further that along. You know, Alexa cheating to win makes sense in that context. Is that's, you know, Blake and Murphy against Enzo and Big Cass, as Alexa cheated to keep them from getting the tag team belts at Unstoppable. So that does make sense in that end. Like I said, I was, you know, entertained by it overall. I just was kind of like a little bit perturbed by the way the fans are just friggin' a little bit too full of themselves down there. Not that I guess you could accuse me of the same thing, right? Because here I am posting my opinions on YouTube. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. It's now the third match of the evening, and we had the Vaudevillains versus Jason Jordan and Marcus Louis. So Jason Jordan had said that he had found the perfect partner, and apparently he thought that was Marcus Louis? Really? I mean, this guy looks like he came right out of Goonies. But anyway, you get the Vaudevillains. And the Vaudevillains, you know, they're funny. They're entertaining for what they are, you know, a joke. But, I mean, they do a good job with it. I enjoy their gimmick. I think it's, you know, it's fun, it's funny. Of course, you know, the way this match ended up going, you know, you had Jordan in there. He was doing good. Then he, you know, ended up tagging back in Louis, who had been in there at first. And they were kind of beating up on Alex English. But then you got the hot tag. Here comes Simon Gotch, who's like a friggin' midget almost. but he's just kicking ass, right? So I mean that's comical in and of itself. That like, oh wow, like hot tag to Simon Gotch should be like, huh, go whoop de doo dah. Oh, this little guy's in the ring now. I mean, but it's, you know, it's funny or whatever, so it's all good. I'd rather see Matt Classic do this whole thing, and he's actually a bigger dude. You know, not the biggest of guys, but these guys are so puny. I mean, I know that's part of the whole joke of them being like a throwback to the old days and everything. It's entertaining. That's, you know, sports entertainment. But you know, once they got that hot tag, then they ended up getting the Whirling Dervish once he tagged back in Alex English, and it was 1, 2, 3 Vaudevillains win. So then after the match, Jason Jordan saw like, oh man, what the heck, Marcus Louis, and rightfully so, because I'll tell you what, Jason Jordan could beat all three of these guys in a handicap match. So I mean, what the hell? How is Vaudevillains beating him with anybody? Obviously, it was Marcus Louis' fault, but like I said, you know, I mean, Jason Jordan should have just beat the crap out of these guys. And Simon Gotch, I mean, it's all well and good. They're entertaining everything, but they should just be jobbing out, these guys. The Vaudevillains should just be jobbing out to people. Said it's a funny little gimmick and all. You can even throw them up on SmackDown and Raw and just have them job out to all the tag teams up there instead of having tag teams keep squashing each other. You know what I mean? Why not? That's what I think they really need to do, is bring back more jobbers. That'll give more people, you know, employment opportunities, keep them, you know, on wrestling, getting paid. They don't have to be the superstars. Superstars sometimes need teams to beat. Look at, you know, in baseball, basketball, football, you know, you got teams like, no offense, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody gonna beat on them. Of course, the Jaguars they're going to be better eventually. And at one point, they were even in the AFC Championship back in the 90s. And I believe they'll get there again. But you get my point, you know. You'll have the teams on the bottom, you know, like the Raiders. And, you know, every year it's a different team. But same thing in baseball, too, or in basketball. You know, you got your wacky teams that, like, hey, you should be familiar with wacky teams. Orlando. The Orlando Magic. Everybody come in, beat them up, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. But instead we have them getting the win, and then Jason Jordan, who's actually a legitimate, you know, talent, just is like, I mean, he didn't lose at least, but he's looking kind of stupid when you got jobbers going over. What's that about? You know, that's what I think anyway. So, I mean, of course, I know it's to build to where Jason Jordan will either go into singles or he'll end up getting a good partner. They kind of tease that maybe he'll end up with Chad Gable. We'll see what happens with that. But they said, you know, I think the Vaudevillains are really just jobbers. I mean, and I don't know why they're picking up victories. You know, like I said, they're entertaining. It's a fun gimmick. It's interesting. You know, it's funny. But it don't make any sense, like Simon Gotch coming in and like tearing things up. I mean, really, come on, man. I could bend that dude over my knee and give him a spanking. You kidding me? But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. They had a video vignette of Sami Zayn and having him have surgery. So they showed him down there. He was in Alabama, you know, the Andrews medical wing. That's, you know, the famous Dr. Andrews who does all the sports surgeries and everything. And so then they're talking about like how he injured himself, you know, and that he like kind of tweaked his shoulder when he was just like putting his arms up, you know, going like yeah, like before the match, dancing, I guess you could call it if you want to. And so then you know, and then Cena ended up hitting him, you know, with the slamming him down on his shoulder, and then of course that pop-up powerbomb he ended up getting from Kevin Owens at Unstoppable. And of course it's something that was an injury that probably had been there for quite some time. It could have been there for years, just being aggravated, and now it just kind of reached a point where at this time, you know, when you're competing at this high level, you're gonna need to have surgery to, you know, definitely want to like just adjust and get in there, clean the thing up, you know, that way he can actually compete at a less pain-free level. Maybe not totally pain-free, but, you know, lessen the pain so it's actually more manageable, and that's really what that's more about. So they showed it. Well, I mean, we actually saw inside of Sami Zayn. Like, man, we got intimate there. We saw it right inside. Like, they're literally taking the damaged, you know, cartilage out of his shoulder and everything. So That was pretty crazy. And you see Sammy right coming out of surgery. He's like, he's off in like Dumbo land seeing pink elephants and stuff. But he gave the thumbs up, and he's hoping to be back. He said, "Oh, this way I can compete for the next 20 years." So, you know, Sami Zayn is dedicated. He's talking about wrestling for the next 20 years. And, I mean, he definitely is at a point right now where I would definitely see him on the WWE main roster for at least a good 10 years doing his thing. And he's got quite the moveset. I don't care what anyone says, Sami Zayn is awesome. Like the Blue Thunder Bomb, that Tornado DDT. I mean, he does just so many moves. We could sit here talking all day about all the moves that Sami Zayn does. But he's a hell of a competitor. And I'm definitely looking forward to him coming back, and wish him a speedy recovery and good health. And hopefully, you know, he gets back to 100% or as close to that as is possible. And yeah, it takes the actual time. Like, don't speed back. I hope he takes the time to actually, you know, not too long, but the right time, you know. And don't rush it, but just come back right when you're ready. And I know that I'll definitely be waiting to see him. I know some people are kind of like been talking about his debut, that it should have been built up more. The thing about it, you know, you could always say that, but it's really more, you know, has to do with what you do in the ring, but also then when you're given the opportunity. And I mean, there's this, as weird as it actually is him getting injured, having a surgery. Right here's a video thing that's actually getting you more, you know, to know his character and to understand Sami Zayn. So it is bringing the fans closer to him. So in a weird way, that just kind of worked out in his benefit. It's kind of taken a negative, turn into a positive. So that's always a good thing. That's what you got to do to keep on rolling, keep on moving forward. So I'm looking forward to his return. Like I said, hopefully he gets back to full health, and wish him well. Let me know what you think, though, in the comment section below. What do you think about Sami Zayn? What do you think about his debut on the main roster against John Cena? And what do you think about him moving forward? Like I said, I think he's an awesome performer, and I cannot wait to see him back on the main roster. And even on NXT, it seems like they're kind of like crossing over the two, as we, you know, we got Kevin Owens on SmackDown tomorrow against, spoiler alert, if you don't know, you can stop listening right now, but it's Zack Ryder. So of course that's already been taped, it already happened, but we'll be covering that tomorrow as they aired on Sci-Fi. But anyway, let me know what you thought about Sami Zayn. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. So the main event of NXT for June 3rd, 2015, Rhino versus Finn Balor. And Rhino was doing a promo earlier backstage here, interviewing him, and he said that he's in NXT to get the championship. He said he wants the championship. He said, yeah, I did the thing with Baron Corbin. That was fun. But my goal, the reason I'm here, is to get the championship. So he wants a shot at the title, and he was going against the #1 contender for the championship, the man who will be facing Kevin Owens on the 4th of July in Tokyo, Japan, with the NXT championship on the line. And that's going to be aired on the WWE Network, as William Regal had announced earlier. And Finn Balor was talking about that before the match. They showed a clip of him in the locker room, and he was talking about how Japan is a place where he's won 11 titles. He had a very prominent career there, and now to return to Japan to face Kevin Owens for the NXT championship, he said it's going to be the match of a lifetime, and he's going to take the NXT championship. I really do believe that. But right here, first he had to face the man beast, Rhino, and this was an awesome match. I'll tell you what, anytime you got this as a main event on NXT, Rhino versus Finn Balor, that's a show I'm definitely happy to watch and glad to watch and entertained by. And this match definitely was entertaining. It was pretty awesome. You know, they were mixing it up. Then we ended up seeing a pretty crazy high spot with Finn Balor going over the top rope. He hit the suicide somersault senton on Rhino, who is outside the ring. They actually broke for a commercial at that point. I guess they wanted us to digest what had just happened. When they came back, Rhino ended up turning things around. He hit Finn Balor with the power slam. Then he ended up doing like a military press, and he just tossed Finn Balor. And then when Finn turned it around for a minute, but then Rhino got him with a spine buster. It was vicious. as Rhino was definitely putting a beating on the #1 contender, Finn Balor. But Finn Balor would end up turning things around. He got a Pele kick, and then he did the sling blade, and then a running drop kick, setting up the coup de grace. He went up top, but Rhino got out of the way. Balor landed on his feet, and he ended up in the corner. Rhino went for the gore, but Balor got out the way. He threw, Rhino with his momentum into that, almost into the ring post, but he pulled him up and he rolled him up, and it was a 1-2-3 victory for Finn Balor. So Finn Balor gets the win. It was an exciting match. That was just a couple of the high spots and exciting parts of the match. It was a good match. It had a good time on it too. They mixed it up for about 10 minutes or so. I thought it was pretty awesome. And then after the match, when Finn Balor was exiting the ring, he went up the ramp, and at the top of the ramp, out of nowhere, gore! Oh my God! It was vicious! It was violent! It was crazy! Rhino just came flying out of nowhere. I didn't even expect him. Just, show's over. I'll tell you what, this is why you gotta watch all the way to the end. You can't miss the final moments, because you'll miss something crazy like this. Rhino just came out of left field and just wiped Finn Balor out, hit him with the gore. He wasn't ready for it. He wasn't expecting it. And will he be able to compete at the event on July 4th in Tokyo, Japan versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship? I don't know. That was the question that Corey Graves posed as they went off the air. That was just a vicious gore by Rhino. So that was pretty crazy. I mean, this was an awesome match, and it was a pretty good show overall. And definitely, this main event here definitely made the show, definitely the highlight of the show, definitely worthy of being the main event. This could be a main event of, really, if this had been an NXT TakeOver, Rhino versus Finn Balor, in my opinion. These two guys are both excellent workers. I like their promos that they had earlier before the match. And I thought it was a pretty good match. I like the way it all turned out and everything. So that was pretty cool, and it was crazy seeing Rhino hit that gore after the match. That was nuts. So I thought it was pretty awesome. Of course, we're going to see what happens moving forward. How's Finn? Hopefully he's not injured. Hopefully he's able to compete. I'm pretty sure he will be able to. And I don't think they would have necessarily announced that match if otherwise, but he's going to be, having his work cut out for him if he's going into that match beat up after this vicious match against Rhino. So I don't know if we're going to see Finn Balor before July 4th after that, but we know that Rhino is gunning for Kevin Owens. Seems like everybody wants a piece of Kevin Owens, because everybody wants the NXT Championship. Even earlier on, Solomon Crowe talking about how he wants another shot at the champion. Rhino wants a shot at the champion. Finn Balor's going to have a shot at the champion. Owens is going against Cena at Money in the Bank. Man, Kevin Owens, his dance card is full, and it is awesome. And the winners are us, the fans. We are the winners, getting to see all this awesome action. NXT is just getting better and better. And this is right here, the official first NXT of the Wednesday Night Wars. That's right, because at the same time, Ring of Honor was on Destination America while NXT was on the WWE Network. I actually had it on two different screens, but I'm first bringing you all the action from NXT, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm first off a WWE fan, and by proxy NXT. I'm excited that Ring of Honor is on Wednesday nights, and I was keeping an eye on it at the same time, trying to watch both, but really my main focus was on NXT, and just kind of like out the corner of my eyes seeing like, oh yeah, I wonder what's going on there. But I'm going to end up rewatching that, because I didn't really get to see what was happening, because I wasn't really paying attention to it, because I was really focused on NXT, especially this match, Finn Balor and Rhino, because it was awesome. So the Wednesday Night Wars, I thought they put together a good show for the first one. It's shots fired when they come up against them on Wednesday night. It's already officially on. But this, NXT, especially with this right here, it shows that they know it is already going to be, a fight for fans and fans' attention to what show are you going to watch when it's actually aired right then. Because otherwise, why would we get such a great main event with Finn Balor and Rhino? So, like I said, we're the winners, because we get an awesome match like this right here. And maybe that was already going to be what they're going to do. But either way, this was pretty cool. Said even, they showed Sami Zayn earlier. They were talking about Kevin Owens. Even that announcement regarding him, even though he wasn't on the show. We didn't have any Samoa Joe, but, we had Solomon Crow. We also got Enzo and Big Cass, even though it was just ringside with Carmella. And, Blake and Murphy were there, even though they didn't fight. But so we had a lot of people on there. They even had the thing with Sasha Banks as well. So they were definitely getting all of their NXT stars on the episode and on TV in some capacity. It's things they said are going to be heating up. It's just going to get better and better. And ultimately, we're the ones that are going to win. It's competition just makes things better. But I thought it was a good show. I had a lot of fun watching it. Someone will also be talking about ROH as well. So if you want to check that out, or if you don't, that's up to you. If you just like NXT, I understand. But let me know what you thought about this episode and what you thought about this match between Finn Balor and Rhino. And what did you think about Rhino with that dirty shot trying to take out Finn? And you got to wonder, where's that going to lead? And wins Rhino? Is he going to end up getting a shot against Owens? Or will he end up facing Finn Balor once he wins the NXT Championship? It's anyone's guess. And where will this leave Samoa Joe? Will Samoa Joe and Rhino end up facing? Is that going to be the next guy Rhino targets? Is he's looking for a shot at Kevin Owens in that NXT Championship? Well, only time will tell. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated.